Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Low Season Traveller Insider Guides. I hope you're all doing really well and that you've had a great May Day long weekend. Today we're bringing you once again to Rio de Janeiro for an episode I recorded live from Copacabana Beach just 2 weeks ago. In this episode I give my reflections of my time in Brazil and indeed in Rio. I had only one full day in Rio and I made a classic mistake which many travellers make when they've got limited time. Have a listen, let us know if you've made a similar mistake on your travels. Enjoy. Well, good morning everyone, and welcome to this special Low Season Traveller Insider Guides edition from Rio. Copacabana Beach, in fact, is where I am sitting right now. And I just wanted to share some of my thoughts, I suppose, and reflections of spending the past week in Brazil, a country which I hadn't known a huge amount about before I arrived. I came for the World Travel Market Latin America edition, which is where all of the tourism authorities from and the hoteliers and the tour operators from all over Latin America, South and Central America, they all turn up every year to try and promote tourism. It was held in Sao Paulo, and I'd never been to Sao Paulo before. And what I can tell you is Sao Paulo was a real surprise for me, because I don't know about you guys, but I had an impression that Sao Paulo was very much, a business place, which it is. It's a huge, huge city with a massive population. But also there was a presentation by Sao Paulo region. So Sao Paulo is more than just the city; it's the full region, and actually there's a huge amount of tourism potential there. And the beauty is we have, we've got good flights from the UK in particular to Sao Paulo. So I'm going to try and feature some more Sao Paulo on Low Season Traveller in the coming months, and around about the area of Sao Paulo. After taking about 50 meetings at World Travel Market Latin America, I then I had 2 days spare, and in order to make the most of the opportunity, I decided that I should go to Rio, because we were going to be featuring Rio on Low Season Traveller in the coming weeks and months, and I wanted to check it out for myself. I knew I was only coming for 2 nights, and the options from Sao Paulo are that you can fly, and it's about an hour and a half to 2 hours, or you can take the bus, which is about 6.5 hours each way. Now the difference in the price is, for a flight it costs about £400 return. You can get it slightly cheaper depending on the days that you fly. And altogether it would take you about an hour and a half flying time, but then of course, as we know, you have all the different protocols in the airport and security to go through and all that kind of stuff. Bus, by comparison, goes from city centre to city centre. The buses in Brazil are super comfortable. You can get their equivalent of business class, and they're super wide seats. And we'll be posting photos of this on the website and on the blog. But super comfortable, free Wi-Fi, and you get to see a little bit of the country. And it costs less than £20 return, which is just incredible value. So with some trepidation, I decided to book the bus. And it was the best decision I made by far, because it meant then that I could afford to stay in slightly better accommodation in Rio, because I'd saved so much on the flights. And also, it's just a nice, really chilled out way to travel. You're there with all locals, which is frustrating for me because I don't speak any Portuguese, and they didn't speak much English. But it was just nice to be around locals for a change, rather than any kind of tourists or anything else. And everyone was super friendly, even though we don't sort of share a language. You can still communicate in your own unique way, sign language and such like. So it was a really great experience. I have spent all day yesterday. I did a tour, and a lot of people do these tours. We did it through our partners at Viator, and the company was called Sea Rio Travel or something like that. And it's one of these ones where in a full day you get to do the Christ the Redeemer statue, Sugarloaf, the cathedral. You have a steak lunch at a churrasco. All of that kind of stuff. And it was a great day. It was a great day to see everything and, get some photos and some videos for lowseasontraveller.com. But there's something about these really organised tours that just doesn't sit comfortably with me, and I'm racking my brain still as to why that is. But I think it's just that it feels overly contrived. You know, you're all on this bus, and it's right. Okay, you've got 15 minutes here. Take your photos and whatever. And then some of the people on the group, you know, they were from all over, from Chile, from Peru, from Brazil, all over really, mainly South America. But what you started to see at each of the different stops was people were clearly taking photos for Instagram. How do I know they were taking photos for Instagram? Well, if you can kind of picture, you know, you'd have a young couple, and the girl inevitably would be, you know, wearing something, you know, cool, like a long white blouse and then a hat on and fully made up, and they're doing all of these poses, and it just I don't know, it just kind of saddened me a little bit, and I thought, is that what we're reducing tourism to? It's a 15-minute stop and take your photos and then disappear. I don't know. It just didn't sit very comfortably with me. And if I'm being really honest, I considered in the middle of the day, only I just thought it would be too rude, how very British of me. I considered actually leaving the tour in the middle and just figuring, you know, I'm just going to go and walk along, I don't know, Ipanema or Copacabana for myself and just, you know, try and speak to people or just take it all in and really appreciate it, rather than be on this non-stop bus tour, which was just relentless, and relentless is the word. You know, it's tiring, really tiring. It certainly wasn't a chilled out day. So anyway, you know, look, you can do that when you come to Rio. The Christ the Redeemer statue is worth seeing, but again, even though we're in the low season now, and the weather, by the way, is gorgeous. It's beautifully sunny and warm, and it's about 28 degrees at the moment. You can hear the sea in front of me. Lots of people playing in the sea. Yeah, the temperature's good and all of that, and the low season is a great time to go. But the crowds at Christ the Redeemer statue were just huge. It was awful, really. It was carnage. You had people trying to get... Everybody's with their arms outstretched, mimicking Jesus, obviously. And yeah, I don't know. It just again, it was just actually very stressful. Very stressful. I took a quick picture of the big man, and then I did a Facebook and an Instagram live, and then I just kind of went off really on my own. I wasn't really interested. So, you know, worth seeing. Sugarloaf Mountain, you get the cable car up, doesn't cost much, and all of this stuff, you can do it on your own. You actually, truly, you don't need to do one of those organised tours that I did. You can do Sugarloaf on your own. You get the cable car up to the top. When you get to the top, there's loads of cool places to eat and drink up there, and it's a lovely experience. And the views of the whole of Guanabara Bay, and you know, the beaches of Copacabana, Arpoador, Ipanema, they're all wonderful, and you get a great photo op. But it's just a nice place to chill out and relax. And one thing I will say is, when you get to the very top of Sugarloaf, at the back, if you keep walking to the back of where Sugarloaf is, there's a really steep incline down, and it says in different languages, but in English it says "for climbers only." And everybody seemed to be put off from going down there. However, what I will say is, if you're physically able to go down, it's like a ramp with ropes. It's not, I'm describing it really badly. It's very, very easy and manageable to do for most people. But if you go down there, you have the whole area to yourself. Nobody went down there. And I think a lot of people, I don't know, were put off by that slight incline. But, you know, I'm not the fittest person in the world, and I managed it no problem. But when you get down there, you've got the place to yourself. You're in among all of the green foliage, all of the sort of birds are there in the trees. You can hear the ocean. It's just fabulous. Really great way to get away from all of the crowds on the top of Sugarloaf. So a really good tip for you there. You'll see it, but again, I'll post a blog on this so that you can see it for yourself and what to do. We went to the cathedral, and the cathedral is absolutely out of this world. It's I think it was built in about 1979, so it's relatively modern. But it's in the shape of a pyramid, and it's got huge stained glass windows going to the top. And again, you'll be able to see the photos on the blog on lowseasontraveller.com once I get a chance to post it up. But that was beautiful, and again, we were told you've got 5 minutes, and I was like, I would have liked to have just wandered around that cathedral for, I don't know, maybe half an hour and just gather my thoughts. But the whole time you're thinking, right, I've got 5 minutes to take my photos and get back to the bus. But worth seeing nevertheless, 100%. Other than that, really Rio is a place for the beach. It's a place for the beautiful people, I would say, of which I'm not one, unfortunately, anymore. But I'm sat here now on the beach on a Sunday morning, and everybody's on the beach, and it's great to see everybody's enjoying themselves. The vast majority would be locals, I'm pretty sure of that. But if you can kind of imagine, hopefully you can hear the ocean in the background. Some relatively big waves, lots of people, enjoying the ocean. Everybody's tanned and beautiful and fit and healthy, and it's pretty sickening, if I'm honest. I'm this pasty British guy that's just sat here talking to my microphone. But it's well worth coming to. Like I say, I think it's just great to experience this kind of beach life. And one of the guides was telling me that people come down from the favelas, the sort of the poorer areas, and they just come and spend a day on the beach at the weekend. And it's lovely to see everybody getting on great. And then, of course, usually in the evening when the sun goes down, the volleyball starts up, the volley football, all of these kind of sports start up, and the range of skills on display is absolutely amazing. Really, really skillful beach volleyball players and foot volley players as well. But they certainly make the most out of the beach for sure. And it's the same all the way along. If you're not familiar with it, Copacabana Beach is a huge stretch of beach, and I've got to as well say that the sand on this beach is that white powdery sand. It's absolutely gorgeous, really lovely. Sometimes you read in guidebooks that the beaches in Rio aren't safe or it's dangerous or whatever. I really don't subscribe to this. I both in Sao Paulo and here in Rio, genuinely I haven't felt in any way, shape or form threatened at all. I think you have to have your wits about you, and I think you have to beware of, I don't know, pickpockets or whatever else, just like you would in Barcelona or Madrid or London or any of these cities. You've got to have your wits about you. But I think if you do have your wits about you, you've got nothing to feel threatened by in the slightest. And like I say, I certainly haven't felt threatened since I've been here. And I've been on the beach in the evening, because they have floodlights, by the way, on the beach. So on the evening, floodlights come on when everyone's playing volleyball, and there's a whole load of little bars which are on the beach, and you can have a caipirinha, the famous Brazilian drink. And it's just a lovely feel to it. Like I say, genuinely, if I had my day over again yesterday, I probably would have just had a kind of a chill out day walking along Copacabana and Ipanema, stopping off at little beach bars along the way, seeing who I could speak to, and just making the most of being there for that one day. So I think a lot of it depends on how long you're going to be in Rio for. I think if you were only here for 2 days, my advice, even though it's probably contrary to what you would expect, I would say, okay, maybe first thing in the morning go up Sugarloaf. I think Sugarloaf is definitely worth a trip up to the top to get the views. Me personally, I wouldn't bother with Christ the Redeemer. You can see it from everywhere in Rio anyway. Getting up close to it, unless you really want that Instagram photo. But then the rest of the time, if you're only here for 2 days, I'd say just enjoy the beach life. Just enjoy being a local for a day and a half or 2 days. And that's what I wish I'd have done yesterday. Just fully got into the beach vibe and just relaxed and just enjoyed it for what it is, rather than feeling like I had to, tick off these kind of items. Okay, it was different for me because I was doing it for low season traveller, but that's what I would do if I could do my time again. Maybe I should have done that anyway yesterday. Maybe that's what I should have done. I don't know. But that's it. Let's say only a short podcast for this one, but I just wanted to give you some reflections on Rio in particular, and I suppose Brazil. We're going to be featuring a lot more content from Brazil in the coming months, just because I think there's an awful lot more to Brazil than most of us in the UK realise. We tend to, when we're looking at long-haul exotic destinations, we tend to look to the east and to the south. We look at Africa, we look at the Far East, we look at the Middle East, we look at Australia, and South America. It's just got so much. I've seen so many presentations and photos and had meetings with destinations in Colombia, in Peru, in Chile, in Argentina, Uruguay, and of course all over Brazil. And there's so much that South America has to offer, and I don't think that we've really given it a chance in the UK because we're so hell bent on going eastwards. But it's definitely got as much as the Far East has got, I think. Just very, very different, obviously. So we are going to be featuring more from Latin America in the future weeks and months, so please do look out for that. If there's any destinations in South or Central America which you think that we should really consider, please do drop us a line and let us know. The email address is ged@lowseasontraveller.com. That's GED. And I'd love to hear from you. And if you've got any photographs of any of these places and any descriptions of what they're like and why we should look at them, that would be appreciated. But I guess that's it. I'm going to have to go because unfortunately, unlike all these lovely, beautiful people enjoying the beach, I've got a 6-hour coach journey to go to get back to Sao Paulo to get my flight. I wish I could stay here for the day. I really do. It's just lovely, and I love listening to the ocean. Like I say, I don't know if you're going to be able to pick that up on the podcast, but it's just so relaxing. And even the sounds of kids playing beach tennis or football or volleyball or whatever, it's just lovely. I wish I could stay here for a day and just do nothing. Hey ho, maybe next time. But that's our podcast for this week. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. And like I say, do let us know if you've got any suggestions for South America and Central America. And let us know what you thought of this podcast. Do you like these live podcasts? Would you prefer that we did them with video as well? We've had a few comments that people love listening to these live podcasts, but they'd like to actually see where we are when we're recording them. Maybe I'll take a quick selfie after I finish this podcast, and I'll post that up as the image for the podcast. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thanks for your company as always, and look forward to catching up with you again next time. So there you have it. Rio is without a doubt one of the most beautiful cities I have ever visited. When tall, steep, green mountains meet endless white sandy beaches, the result is always going to be aesthetically beautiful. But here in Rio, it is truly breathtaking. There's a vibe to this place like no other, and we're hugely excited to be planning some signature low-season trips to Rio and Brazil in the coming weeks. So please do follow us on Instagram and Facebook for more details and some exciting new developments coming very soon. But that's our show for this week. Thanks as always for your company. Hope you have a great week wherever you are. Stay healthy, stay safe, keep your travel dreams alive, and don't forget to share this podcast with your friends, family, and social networks. Finally, remember that travel is always better and fairer for the planet, the local communities, and you, the travellers, when it's without the crowds.